This podcast is brought to you by 1-800-PRO-FLOWERS. Well, before we start the podcast, I'd like to give my hearts out. We, at Beauty and the Beast, want to send our hearts out to the people in New Jersey and New York and the tri-state area and the 14 other states that suffered fucking Sandy. I mean, again, I don't believe in shit. So when I heard about it Saturday night, I was like, this is just a media thing to scare away people. That's my first thing all the time. And I got to tell you, man, I've been talking to people the last 4 days, and it has been, it's horrific. Yeah. It really is horrific. And nothing bad's happened. You know, I spoke to my friends, and nothing bad's happened. My one buddy, a fucking tree landed on his house.
One of our listeners, a guy who's on my Facebook and directly from the podcast, he, I noticed on my Facebook thing, I was reading his whole house got destroyed in New Jersey. And so you're just like, wow.
Yeah, so a pole landed on his house, and fucking a spark. The cops shut down the streets for 3 days, and nobody was allowed out of the house. And they had no heat, no air conditioning. I mean, it's fucking horrid. Yeah. So he was telling me the story this morning, how they wouldn't cut the wire. And finally, he got on the phone with Pete, because he's a home inspector, and they came and cut the wire. But there's been some shit that's fucking scary. Like, this is... there's no gas. You got to wait 5 hours for gasoline. They don't take ATM cards. All the supermarkets are closed. It's just something that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. I've always believed one thing, that when New York City sneezes, everybody else catches a cold.
Oh, yeah.
So to see New York, this happening in New York, and I got to tell you, Felicia, more and more I see this shit. I know LA is next. They've already gotten the bottom half of the country and the eastern half of the country. Something's got to happen here eventually. I mean, the odds
are... relax, Sparky.
Yeah, now the odds are definitely against us.
It's a weird thing because when I was in Alaska, one of the comedians I was with, actually all three of the comedians I was with were from New York City. And so Carol Montgomery... she was talking about, they're building this crazy new building right next to my house, and then the thing was saying where people should evacuate, and I said to my husband and my son, did you go and get food? And they're like, nah, we'll just order in. And she's like, no, I'm telling you, but they always think like she's the one that's a little hysterical, right? And sure enough, I get home, they had to go, because we all flew through Seattle. I came home, they got stuck in Denver. They're still in Denver.
And they're going to be there another fucking week, too.
And that crane that collapsed next to her building.
Yeah. And you want me to tell you something? The snowstorm's going to hit Denver tomorrow. So they're stuck there for a couple of days.
Oh, my God.
And that's what they learned for flying through fucking Denver. You never fly through Denver. Big mistake.
Yeah,
never
Denver is a crapshoot.
You never fly through fucking Denver. Yeah. Listeners, never fly through Denver. I don't care if it's $100 cheaper. You don't want to get stuck in Denver, bitches. Yeah. If you know where that airport is. Listen, I'm looking right now at different places where I like to raise the kid, and I love to move back to Denver, but I don't trust the airport. Yeah. The old Stapleton, I trust it.
Oh,
this
I know,
new shit.
I know, they're like, well, if we get stuck in Denver, we'll just go and hang out in the city. I'm like, no. That's like a fucking huge cab ride.
It's 40 fucking miles.
That's a huge cab ride.
It's not Stapleton no more.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be, that you just go to Stapleton. Oh, fuck, it's right downtown. Yeah. Stapleton was 3 exits from downtown, really, off the fucking 70, I think. Or I-25, one of them when you got off the 36. So you were right there. They moved this airport after you land in Denver, you fucking drive 10 miles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're like, what the fuck did
they
put?
In the plane.
Yeah,
just to get to the gate.
Yeah, just to go to the gate.
Like, fuck,
and then you get to the fucking gate. Yeah,
no.
And you get to the gate, and you gotta fucking take a train to get your luggage. Yeah. It's just too much. That's where the airport gets on my nerves. You know, what Ari was talking about last week, I'm to the point where it's like when I go to get a blood test. I look the other way, and I don't let it bother me. I just don't let it bother me. I know I got to go through this. If you bitch, they will not let you go through there, and then you're stuck in that fucking town, and you're going to have to fly to a different airport to fly out of. And once they get your name on that list, you're fucking done. So when I got on a line in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, that if you looked at the line, you would go, oh, fuck, Joey's going to have a heart attack. And I even went and tried to get a first-class ticket.
I'm sure you did.
To fucking get in that priority line.
You did. I bet you did.
And the priority line was worse.
Oh, really?
It was worse.
Yeah.
And it was a 45-minute thing.
Yeah.
45 minutes. At 5 in the morning when your stomach is rumbling and you already had your heart set on a sandwich and it's rumbling and people are stupid and they're, it's like you look at these, see, we're used to flying. Again, I would look at the person and go, are you that fucking stupid that you don't know to take off your fucking shoes But people don't fly.
Yeah.
I fly. I know by the time I get to that belt, I'm already naked. I'm naked. I got the weed out of the nutsack. I got everything. I got the sleep apnea machine out of the case.
Yeah.
Because they make me take...
too,
I travel with the sleep apnea machine. They make me take it out of the case. The reservoir has to come out. They look to see if the water, if there's an oil in there.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
this
nightmare.
time they raped my camera bag. They took everything out and wiped it down and put it in the machine.
Oh, fuck yeah. To see if... And it just sucks. Like, I tell you what. I don't want to talk about politics, but here you have it. I don't know if you know this. All right, a lot of people don't know this about Uncle Joey, and we discussed this. That I was a history major, right? Like I was taking these classes, and all of a sudden they, you got to pick your major, and I was like, well, I'm going to become an attorney, especially if they're going to give me this money.
Do you have a prediction, Professor Diaz?
So no. So it was funny that I was a history major, and then when I got arrested for the felonies, I couldn't become an attorney no more, and I'm not going to sit up and read history books no more. So I switched my major. So my main major is economic, but I have a minor in political science. So I'm watching this whole hurricane buzz out. And let me tell you something. If you're voting for Romney, or if you're thinking of voting for Romney, you want to support Romney, you might as well shoot yourself now because it's over. It's over. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Obama's. I'm definitely not a big fan of Romney, and both of them would destroy the country in the next 4 years. But I was against switching governments at this point. Obama's already in there. Leave him in there for another 4 years. Then this dude comes along with his little Mickey Mouse fucking hairdo and his little Catholic sidekick who looks like a dick. Okay?
He looks like Eddie Munster.
They both look like a
that.
fucking
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is that when that hurricane started showing up, Obama took that big black dick out and started just rubbing it real slow because he knew it's over. Now he's in Jersey. By tomorrow, he's going to cancel his press junket and he's going to go to Jersey and they're going to have pictures of him pulling out wood out of the water with Snooki. You know how many fucking... you know how many votes that is, my friend?
Oh,
like the other night Felicia always gets mad at me when I post like racist stuff. Like
I know. I called him once from Kansas. I was like, really, Joey?
So the other night
Really?
I posted, Romney, you're done. Obama is in Jersey right now singing Springsteen songs with white people, Jews, and a couple Puerto Ricans. You know he got like 500 fucking hits.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
No,
it's over.
No, I'm not saying
and I told my wife yesterday, my wife, Miss fucking, Miss CNN. That didn't affect nothing. Also, World News Tonight came on with Diane Sawyer. In the first 15 minutes, it's Obama walking with the chubby governor. And I'm like, are you watching that right there? That's called FaceTime. Can't beat that. The number one show in the world is the news. You can't beat that. Right now, people, wait till Obama flies back tomorrow with a scuba suit on. And the country sees him with a scuba suit on. If I was Romney, I'd be on my way to fucking New Jersey with a scuba suit on.
I know.
Tanks.
He can't win either way. And believe me, I'm no fan of his, but he can't. If he goes, what is he going to do?
You got to get in the water. You got to get dirty. You got to outdo Obama.
Everyone is like, oh, you need so much attention that we got to take people to show you around, and you're not, you know what I mean?
No, he should just fly in and see a devastation. Him and Eddie Munster should fly in. If I was them two, I'd start rubbing suntan lotion on right now and get back to that Jersey Shore because that's where the vote's going to be won. You know, you got to remember, Katrina was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment for the government because we weren't prepared. When the hurricane went to hit the second time, we were very prepared, and people listened to you got to get the fuck out. In Jersey now, this is bad. I mean, listen, I grew up in that fucking Jersey Shore. I know exactly what that is. I heard that the houses around the Jersey Shore covered in sand.
No, I saw that.
Did you see that? They're covered in fucking sand. So, you know what, man? I'm not there. You know, I like to donate, whatever the fuck, which you guys only get 30% anyway. If I gave you $1, you get 30 cents. I might as well go back there and pick up 3 pieces of paper and I did more of a fucking job. So next time I go to Jersey, I'll put something together, but my heart goes out to you guys. I couldn't imagine. Because listen, I don't care if there's an earthquake. I don't care if the world ends. As long as the shower works and I can wash my ass, I'm very happy. The guy I talked to today, he's been paying $20 a day to take a shower at the gym for the last 3 days.
Really? Wow.
That would kill me if I couldn't wash my pussy. It would kill me, Felicia, if I had to sit there with no electricity, no internet, no nothing, and to boot, your balls are dirty, no TV, just smoking weed. What are you going to do? Those people walking across the bridges.
No, I know. I can't even imagine.
It's and you lived in New York.
No,
you know.
I know. I lived in New York.
That you're sitting there going to yourself, wait a second, there's no trains. And there ain't
Yeah,
gonna
how are
be
they moving food around? That's what's
and
scary.
there ain't gonna be no fucking trains for
That's
another
scary.
3 or 4 days,
Yeah.
maybe till Monday or
That's
Tuesday.
that's the thing I'm worried about with Obama is that people are gonna riot or something. I hope not. You know.
Riot? Why are they gonna riot?
Because food is having a hard time getting in. People aren't able to move around. You know.
And fucking Hoboken's done.
Yeah.
And Hoboken is done bad. From 9th Street down, I heard it's fucking done.
Yeah.
Water all over the place. So Atlantic City's done. I gotta tell you something. It's bad that happened, but Atlantic City needed to fucking get refurbished. You understand? Atlantic City needed a new fucking makeover. They watched
Really?
it. Atlantic City's fucking dirty,
I
bro.
haven't been, and it was no great.
No,
shape,
it was
so I
no
like
great. No, every time I go to Atlantic
15
City,
years ago.
every time I go to Atlantic City, for some reason, I always hear that expression, "the asshole of the world," in my head. People say it's Buffalo. Go to Atlantic City. I went to the all-you-can-eat crab legs there a couple of years ago with my friend. My friend's like, "Man, it's not that bad." Dog, I felt weird for like 4 days. Like I had twitches and shit.
Well, I remember when we would have to work there at the comedy stop at the Trop, and he would put us up in a condo, and it was like 10, 15 blocks away from
The hotel.
the hotel, and that was
Scary.
fucking
It's
sketchy
scary.
to walk through in the middle of November when it's snowing, when the sun has already been down, and it's 7:30. That was a little fucking scary, and to walk home.
You know, people were saying, "Oh, they destroyed the Jersey Shore." Again, when I was a kid, those fucking places were old. And they still got them there 30 fucking years ago. It was 30 years ago last time
but
I
it's like
played.
Coney Island. It's like nostalgic.
When my friend called me, he said the Ferris wheel fell off the fucking thing and went into the ocean.
Yeah.
The Ferris wheel off the Jersey Shore. That's just, it's just, I couldn't imagine it happening here. I couldn't imagine.
I can't take those rides anyway. You know when
Which rides? The funny rides?
I can't do heights. I don't like heights. I went twice with the boys. Once on a roller coaster up in Santa Cruz. There's a boardwalk up there. It's very cool. And we went up there, and it was one of those small ones. But you know, the small ones, they'll get you. Like the big ones, you go for a long time, and you go up, and then you slowly go over, and you go for a long time down, and then it's leisurely turning to the left. Those little ones are like, like a cat chasing a mouse across a room, and I screamed my head off.
I get scared too.
And then I went to a little one at Newport Beach, but it wasn't a roller coaster. It was a Ferris wheel, but it was the tiniest Ferris wheel, and it was right on the boardwalk to the ocean. And I was like, man, one little trembler, and this little thing is gonna go. Bloop.
Yeah, I don't like those little amusement parks.
I screamed my head
I only
off.
go to ones
My
that are set in the
kids-
fucking ground. Fuck you.
know.
Great Adventure, Disney World, Universal. Those
I
little,
want it bolted into the ground.
those little
right?
Mexican ones they do
Yeah.
from fucking
No,
little
don't do
yacht.
those.
No,
No,
I don't do those.
any carnival rides because you know.
No, fuck
Yeah,
you.
if you've ended up as a carnival worker, you aren't really checking all the nuts and
Hey.
Hey.
Part of our podcast listening is carnival people.
Okay,
So
I don't mean
nice.
that mean, but
You know what I'm saying? No, they look
that's
like high school
insane.
janitors.
Yeah, that's
they're
it.
fucking crazy. They got
That's
they got
insanity.
eagle eyes and shit like that. It's fucking craziness. You know, it's funny. Yes, I turned the TV on when I got home.
Oh my god! All this shit you say, and I make a remark about carnival workers, and you just fucking got on the joint.
I'm teasing.
I finally found his breaking point. No
But,
carnival worker jokes, cocksucker.
Yesterday, no carnival workers. They're a big part of beauty and the beast. They're all about second chances. Those motherfucking carnival
That's
workers.
true.
Those motherfuckers wrote the book on second chances.
I know. I kind of feel bad that I say it and want to.
Can you imagine, like, when a carnival worker comes up to you, how you doing? You the boss here. Listen, I just got out of the joint for lighting up a fucking kids' home on fire. There were 80 kids. You mind hiring me? So, second chances are big with carnival people. Don't fuck with my people, you know what I'm saying?
That is so funny, Joe.
Second chances. Let me tell you something. It's funny because I got home
The defender
yesterday.
of the carnival workers.
Carnival workers, and I seen Obama was in Brigantine yesterday. Brigantine, New Jersey. Brigantine, New Jersey is where, and it's so weird because I saw it. I'm like, fuck. Brigantine got fucked up. That's fucked up. Brigantine getting fucked up. But the thing about Brigantine was the reputation of every little city has something. You know, like, Brigantine's reputation was the Brigantine Castle, where on Halloween, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I seen 3 black dudes beat up Dracula. Remember I told that
Oh
story?
yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
Dracula?
right.
That's where it was,
It
Brigantine.
took 3 of them to beat up
Dracula.
Dracula.
Oh, it was like 10 of them, but I only saw 3, so fuck it. But it was weird that he was walking around and I didn't see no black people in Brigantine.
Yeah.
I just seen a bunch of white people. Once I seen him hugging that white fat lady with the bandage on her head, it's over. That's a bunch of votes right there. White people folding down. Oh, it's going to be great on Tuesday. And I could care less who won. It wouldn't affect us at all. No way.
Well, it would
Supposedly,
affect me.
Romney.
It would affect me.
That's right. You have problems. Romney doesn't want marijuana and all this shit. So
Yeah, so it would affect you.
yeah, but still, I'm still gonna smoke dope with 3 hands. I don't give a fuck about Romney. This is Abe Lincoln. They want me to smoke dope either. Look where that got us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck?
Oh my God! Yesterday, I can't even tell you this story. It's so terrible.
What happened?
Oh, I can't betray my son.
Hit me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, my kids dressed up in these morph suits for Halloween. Do you know what the morph suit?
What the fuck is a morph?
A morph suit is like just a skin tight suit that fits all over your body and your head. So it's like, you know how the Blue Man Group put makeup all over themselves and they wear those blue suits or something like that. It's like that, but it's the whole suit. And then, but they put morph suit on the bottom, like how women's sweatpants say juicy.
Yeah.
It says morph suit. And it's just like, that's so weird. And the whole and there were like all these children in morph suits. It's like, what the fuck is that about? Anyway, my one son, the older one, has it on, and he went to this skateboarding event because they had to wear costumes, right? Because he's at that age where he's kind of over it too. But he's like, fuck, I'll just get a morph suit. But he didn't say the F word. And then he comes up to me and he's like, Mom, what do I do when I'm skating? And this morph suit gives me a boner. And I was all like, oh my God. Oh my God, George. I did.
What'd you say to him?
I was just, I like how I'm doing now.
Right now, you had an anxiety attack.
Yes, I didn't know what to say, you know.
That's the first time a guy told you had a boner and you were stumped.
I know.
Usually a guy says he's got a boner. You're like, what are you telling me for? Put it in my mouth. You're way behind the 8 ball.
I do what I do now. When someone says they have a boner, I fix my bangs to a more attractive position.
Fuck it. Your son told you yesterday, yeah? This is the beginning of the end. Felicia.
And I was just like, just go to a private area and think of really bad thoughts. I didn't know what to say. I was trying to give him like, what do you say? I couldn't say baseball scores because he's not into baseball. I didn't know what to say. What should I say? There, I'll ask you that. What should I say the next time he says that?
I don't know.
What did you do when you were a kid and you got an unexpected boner?
You go in the corner, you whack it off, you come on the wall, and you go back and do what you were doing. No.
I'm not going to say to him, go to your bedroom and machine get it into a sock like every other normal 13-year-old does.
I don't know, Felicia. I'm stumped myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If they came and told me that, I'd faint.
Well, first, I was kind of like, you know
I'd giggle
what?
at first.
Yeah,
I
was stunned, but I was kind of like, that's really cool that he feels comfortable enough, I guess, to tell me, you know, so.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to wait till they wake you up.
I did
when
tell
they
him.
got a pimple on their nutsack and they wake you up, Ma. I gotta say, because we'll wake you up, so you're not really alert to see it. Like, why are you waking me up showing me your balls? You know, what, Ma, I felt this lump over here. What is it? And you gotta look at their dick and see, and all of a sudden you see the hair. And I remember waking up my mother in the 8th grade one time, like, Ma, I gotta talk to you. She's like, what? I got this lump on my nut. And she felt it. And she's like, just go to the fucking doctor. What are you bothering me for?
My brother once, when he came to visit me, and when I was in my early 20s, he's like, hey, you gotta look at my butt. Something's not right. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking look at your ass. And we were living in West Hollywood, which struck me at the time as very funny. And so I was like, I'm not gonna look at your ass. And he's like, no, I really need you to look at my ass. I'm like, fuck you. Then the next day he comes and he's very stern looking. He's like, you really gotta look at my ass. And I'm like, fuck off, I'm not gonna look at your ass. And then about 6 hours later he came and he was like, crying almost. And I was like, looked at him, I was like, oh shit. He had like an abscess on his ass.
In the asshole? Or
no,
just
it was
on his
like
ass,
right
on
near
cheek?
the asshole on the cheek, but it was huge, and he had to go and
to the hospital and
he had
drain
to go
it.
Get his surgery. Yeah, it was like, and then I totally gave him such a rash of shit, you know, because I had to help him for 3 days as he nursed the whole thing on my couch, and then about 2 years later, I was like wiping my butt or something. I was like, what the fuck is that? That's a little bone. That's weird. And then like 2 days later, wow, there's something really, and then I had one on my house, and I was just like, oh my God.
So what'd you do?
I went to the doctor like a normal person does and got it fixed. I didn't
did
wait till
they
3
drain
days
it?
later.
Did
Yeah.
they train? Did they pop it?
Yeah. That's gross.
I picked up a girl one time that, in the car, on the way home, after I bought the blow, is when she dropped the fucking boil on her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the fucking car on the way home.
Yeah.
She drops on me. She's like, I don't know if you know this. I had to go to the hospital 3 days ago because I have a boil on my ass. And I looked at her, really? That's no big deal. I'm going to eat your pussy. It's got nothing to do with your ass. And she's like, no. I didn't say that to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, they had to do like a surgery and drain it. And they got like a pus bubble there. So we get back to the house. The whole deal was she wanted to write comedy or something. So I go, you know, you got to buy a gram of coke. And I go, listen, you will be sucking dick tonight. She's like, no, I can't do that. I go, listen, it's just one blowjob. It ain't going to fucking kill you. She was really cute from the store. So we went back to her house. She's telling me about this boil on her ass. We did like 2 lines. I'm like, listen, let's get the sexual tension out of the room. Just give me a blowjob.
Oh my God.
And she's like, no, I don't want to. Let's write some jokes. I go, just give me a blowjob. Let's end this. So she gives me the pipe sucking, right? And we're hanging out. She's real cute. We're doing coke, and I'm getting horny and horny. So I'm like, listen, we got to take your pants off and see what's really crack-a-lacking. So this girl had her period.
And she had her period?
No, it gets worse. So she had a period. So
was a tooth missing too?
No, she was really blonde and really pretty. She was from New Orleans. And we're partying now. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm getting really horned up. I want to eat her pussy. Yes, I got to eat something. And I go, you know what? Fuck it. Just get on the couch and turn around. I'll eat your ass. You know me, dog. I'm a pig.
Oh my God.
I figured I'd pull the tampon for the effect, just to give it a little fucking rock the monkey effect. And when I go to eat her ass, she's got a hemorrhoid in her ass. This bitch was a born loser. She was born to lose. She had a hemorrhoid, a period, and a boil on her ass. I just said, put your pants on. I was done. I think
it didn't stop you?
A hemorrhoid?
Well, I don't know.
Look, I thought she had a hemorrhoid in her ass. It looked like a finger that was going to pick my nose while I was sniffing it. I wasn't getting involved in that shit. I was like, fuck you, I'm not eating that ass. She had a hemorrhoid, Felicia. That was gigantic in her ass, the boil, and the fucking string coming out from under the fucking... I picked up the jackpot of death.
If a girl has a tampon and a boil, that would stop you with the hemorrhoid.
I'm a savage. I'll eat the ass. I don't give a fuck. I'll lick it and whack off on your back. You know me. We'll find something to do. You can jerk me off with your feet, something. But when I looked at that hemorrhoid, like I was stumped. There was nowhere to go. Like I was done. She locked every avenue up. I couldn't ask her for another blowjob. She had already sucked my dick like 4 times by that time. You know, I mean, she even said it to me. She goes, I've sucked it 4 times. I can't keep doing this. Well, you can't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? All the other avenues are closed.
Oh my God, Joe. Oh my God.
You want stories? I'll give you fucking stories.
No, I just had empathy for her because I've been in that position where you're like, wah, you got lockjaw, and you're like, wah,
the fuck, 4 fucking blowjobs in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, 3 more, she would have broke the record. And I got pissed, and I got in the car with Mark Babin and left. I was fucking sexually frustrated. But what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Wow. You get those ones. Fuck it, we're talking about hurricanes. We might as well talk about hemorrhoid in the chick's ass. I mean, what the fuck? It's downhill from here. There's nowhere to go from here,
Oh
Felicia.
my God.
We're just having a good old fucking time.
I know that. By the way, I have this, I was just thinking, I hope my kids never listen to the podcast.
Why not? This is good for them.
Because they would be so pissed. My little one got mad at me because I told the joke on that parental discretion show. By the way, that parental discretion show, moms are pissed, you know? Did you read anything about this?
No.
No, because I guess Nick Jr., when it switches over to Nick Mom, does it at 10 o'clock at night on New York time, but it's 7 o'clock here on the West Coast. So
and what are you guys talking about on there? Your moms.
about being moms that were being a little bit,
edgy. You push the envelope. Nothing wrong with that. Fuck these people. These people get too offended about everything.
People really get offended about everything.
Everything, and it's like, and they get offended to get attention. They're not getting, because when you get offended and you say something to that person. I'm gonna write a letter and put a blog about it.
Well, how about that troller guy that was trolling about the storm, saying that the New York Stock Exchange flooded, and it turned out and then the news people ran with it, and it turned out he was like some guy that was helping some Republican, like on his campaign, like that people are that crazy that they put disinformation out there that could hurt others, in that stupid way. Like, why do you find it a need to say that the New York Stock Exchange is flooded? Or people that put down negative things, like on the internet, like trollers, like people who just do that. It's so weird to me. I've never ever wrote a shitty thing on the internet on someone's YouTube, even if it was fucking crazy.
No, I haven't either.
I've never written anything down. Like,
the ones that burn me up are the people who think they're fucking cute, like take it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Like, I did a video, and a month later I looked at the video one day, and it's got comments on it. Some guy said, your skin is very dry. You need to eat more pickles or something like that. Really, guy? Like, really? Like, really? You know, it's like, you get to the point, and then they're the ones, let me explain something to you, what's going on now. You get to the point of people, like last week I got a troll from a guy, and he goes, hey, I really don't like your podcast. And I said, okay, thank you. What are you going to do? You don't like my podcast? What am I going to do? So you took the time to write me on Twitter, you don't like my podcast. So I knew this was going somewhere.
Yeah.
So about an hour later, I get back on there, and he writes me like 3 times, hey, here's my number, call me. Can you do my podcast?
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, first he tells me that he doesn't like my podcast. Then after that he goes, it's not that I don't like your podcast, I really don't like Lee. And I think your podcast is very boring. And I said, thank you. You know, not everybody, I go, Lee's not a comedian, you know.
Well, first of all, your podcast might be a lot of things. Might be crazy, might be polarizing, but I wouldn't say boring.
Well, whatever. Everybody has to. And listen, man, that's the same guy that thinks there's probably a pet show that he listens to. Yeah. Whatever. So, I think 3 hours later, I get fucking 8 things. Call this number, please. Do my podcast. And I'm like, no, I'm not calling this fucking number. I don't even know you. Yeah. And that's what it was. He was trying to entice me. So that was it. It's all over. Then an hour later, I get, fuck you, you fat motherfucker. You know, all the original things, you know. And then yesterday, I'm thinking that Joe Diaz is an FBI informant. So people are getting back to me going, do you see this fucking idiot? I didn't listen to it at all. Yeah. And then I blocked him on Twitter. Yeah. So he started on Facebook. And I started thinking about it, like last night, like, what a poor. So he was writing comments and then he would like them himself.
I would like to welcome our new sponsor, 800 Pro Flowers. I moved away from home when I was quite young, and there were times when I couldn't always afford to go visit my mom, or there were times when honestly I was being a little bit selfish and I didn't want to go visit my mom. But the one thing I would always do is try to scrape enough money together and to order her some flowers. And I'm so glad I did. And don't get me wrong, I did visit my mom quite a bit, but I'm so glad that I would send her flowers. After she passed away, I had to go to her house and I had to help clean it out. And what I found were all the little vases from when I had ordered her flowers and she got them. And she had saved all the little cards where I had written, dear mommy, I miss you, and all that kind of stuff. And some of them she even had in her purse. It made me realize, like, to some people, if you get flowers, it means a lot, you know? And I know the holidays are coming up, so why don't you, instead of flying into somewhere where you can't take wine through security and you want to bring home something to the family for the Christmas dinner or the Thanksgiving dinner, is just order some flowers. Order some flowers for the people you care about. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the top right corner, and type in Beast. There you go. That's the code, Beast.
Like this kid last night, I blocked him. Then he came back as Frank Lopez.
Frank Lopez.
You know, like, it's just amazing that they set that much time up.
Yeah.
Like, these are people that instead of getting up that morning and getting a job or maybe writing a joke or maybe writing a poem or something.
They're probably at work, though.
No, they get up and they set up a couple different Facebook pages and they set up a couple Twitter accounts and they get there and go, I wonder whose day I'm going to ruin today.
Yeah.
By saying, because sometimes when you get a negative comment on Twitter, just go to their page. And they've hit up Felicia, Ari,
I saw
Brian,
that. Yeah,
Joe.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah. And it's like, you know, man,
Yeah.
And then there's people that say something to me. Like, I've never seen these people on Twitter. Hey, motherfucker. And then you go to their page and they're just insulting everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Like, your mom failed as a mother. Your dad definitely failed as a father because he installed no character, no balls into you. You know, you have nothing going for yourself. If you took that much time to set up a page to insult people. Yeah. They canceled my Twitter page, and I didn't start Free Joe Diaz till Monday because I didn't think it was that important. Yeah. You follow me? This guy actually went and set up 3 or 4 Twitter pages to insult people.
Did they ever tell you why they canceled your...
Yeah, the nutsack.
Oh, the nutsack.
Because two guys had said shit on there, and I blocked them. Dog, I don't fuck around no more. I know what you're doing. There's people that just go to get bait people.
Yeah.
They're just baiting you, Felicia. You can't read those comments. As a matter of fact, I have a general rule. I don't want to read any of them. Like, especially to the videos or I don't want to read any of them. because you're having a good time. Here, people understand that you're. And I'm not talking about my podcast. Like, I listen to a lot of people's podcasts, and I read their fucking comments. You know, I read Bill Burr, who's a great friend and a great podcast. I see what people say to Bill Burr. So if they're saying that shit to me and to Adam Carolla, they're saying it to me. I listened to Allison's the other day.
Oh, you did?
About 2 weeks ago. And again, cunt. Really, guy?
Yeah.
Your day is made by calling her a cunt on a comment. You know what?
iTunes,
I'll give you
I'll
give you the $20. I'll pay for your plane ticket. Come on out here, Felicia. She's a cunt to her face.
Yeah.
But you just don't. And it's a guy saying it to a girl, which even bothers me more.
Yeah.
If it's a girl saying, I didn't like what you said about women, you're a cunt. But it's a guy. Like, that was his quickest response to her. That's the shit that I look at. 2-3 years ago, I would look at it and be mad and look at that person and where they lived and send them a fucking firebomb. Now I'm like, I can't get caught up into their misery.
Yeah.
They're just a miserable motherfucker. And people, I mean, I've seen things that people do that are really good. You ever look at a video and it's really good, done by somebody, and the third comment is some fucking jerk off.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching a Joe Rogan thing the other day about science or something, the end of the world. And some guy's like, get hair, you bald-headed fuck. Really? Like, he doesn't know he's bald, but you just wrote the best joke of your life.
Right.
Get some hair, you bald motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. I mean, I have never, ever, ever written anything negative. Ever. Like, why would you even waste your time? Just click next.
And let me tell you something. If you know anything about me, I love a good joke. So if you're going to call me something and it's good, if it's really good, I'll fucking hit you back and laugh with you.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys. It's when they call me fat that I know that they're really about nothing, because that's all they got to work with.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about my family. They didn't talk about
That's how
my
I
views.
feel when they say you are just some whore or whatever. Like, it's like,
It's
why
the
that?
simplest common denominator.
Yeah.
I even got things going to me this week. I swear to God, people saying you're a fat fucking Cuban. You should go to Jersey and swim. You know, I didn't even write a hacky joke like that about the fucking thing, you know? Oh, there's Cuba. I mean, and you sit there and you go, where's your head at? Like, at least insult me. If you're going to insult me and hide, at least go for broke.
Right.
But you sit there and, you know, when I went to prison, I learned one thing. A guy said something to me, a cool black dude. He said, think of all the time you spend in your day doing negative shit. If you applied that to doing one thing that was positive. And I always stuck with me, you know, because what he meant to negative shit is when we're getting drugs. Felicia, how are we going to get a gram of coke tonight? I don't know. Let me call my ex-husband, see if he'll give me $40. All right, I'll call Terry and see if I get 20. And we'll, you know, you put all this energy into doing this. And if you did one fucking positive thing, and I always think about that, like, think of, like that kid, you know, he set up 4 or 5 Facebook pages. Like, that was 2 hours of his time with an intent.
Right.
You know?
Anyway, there's a lot to be said about doing something just to do something positive. I'm just going to bring it to this point, because Joey and I have been doing this podcast for 2 years, and, you know, we don't make money off of it. I mean, you've, with your stuff, have done, like, raise money to do the documentary. You didn't even need a Kickstarter. Like, we've done so many fun things, kind of starting with the podcast in a sense of, and just talking about positivity and about there is a second chance and about shit happens to everybody and you just gotta muddle through. And when I was flying back from Alaska, Joey, I was in the airport in the bathroom and I was taking a pee and I was just like, now I gotta go back and all this kind of stuff, and like, I wish the podcast would, you know, something nice would happen to the podcast, and Joey's podcast is doing so good, and I did the girl podcast, which is going good, and you know, like, but self-doubt.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
We let
when
ourselves
you
get
know,
it.
and as I'm doing that, I'm peeing in the Alaskan airport. And then I get out of the bathroom and I go sit down and I check my Facebook, as we all do obsessively on our iPhones. And I saw that someone had put on my page, you know, like, hey, I didn't get nominated and I tried to get people to vote for me, but Beauty and the Beast did. And for Best Comedy Podcast for the Podcast Awards. And it was just like God smacked me in the face and said, really, Felicia, you know, if you put something positive out there, something positive comes back. It might not be what you think you need, you know, or want, but it does come back in a really great way. And I wanted to just say real quickly, thank you to all the listeners.
Thank you. Yes.
Who went and voted for us, and who continue to leave and come back to the podcast. You know, I think podcasting is so interesting because sometimes you go to people for a while, take a break, go back for people for a while.
You hear a good one and you go, let me download the rest of this shit and see what's been going on lately. And I appreciate it. I just got hit up by somebody on email yesterday, 2 days ago. He's like, hey man, I've been away for 6 months and they had no access to iTunes or something. And he goes, so now I downloaded like 60 fucking beautiful bees.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. He goes, I don't know if you remember me. And it's really nice, man. You know, listen, like I said, you know, you booked these shows this year. You were like really excited. And when I got off the phone, I'm like, fucking Felicia, what's she excited about? I thought she knew that this is what happens when you get up and do something you're not supposed to do. Like if I blew you off every week and said we're not gonna do this, then nothing to do. But we fucking stay on top of it.
And it's so rare too, because how many fucking people, and not just in this business, but any business, always say, yeah, we should do that, we should do this, and it never comes to fruition. For us, I know we have hundreds of friends and acquaintances that do that all the time. Let's do this project, and nothing ever happens. But for the fact that once a week for 2 years, that we've been more than 2 years, 2.5 years, meeting and doing this every week, and we have learned so much. I've learned so much from the listeners, like the things they write, or people that you feel like you've made friends with over Facebook and Twitter because of just the certain things they pick out and respond to is what I find so super interesting. And you see people's personalities come through the internet.
When you see that Twitter picture, and then you see them at a comedy show, you're like, oh my God. And they come over and they're cool. And it's been a real learning experience. Like I don't, every day for me, this is like going to college the last 2 years. Like I'm learning something, but it's different because I'm doing it as I'm learning. And this is a different, and we've learned, I mean, we've had different guests in here, what we learned about each other. It's so weird. Last night I said something to Terry, my wife, in a bad way. I have a cat that when he eats, he doesn't like to eat with everybody else. Mm-hmm. He likes to eat in a fucking corner. By himself. Yeah. That's just the way he is.
Some people are that way.
That's just the way he is. But if you don't feed him in that fucking corner, he won't eat. Yeah. And guess whose balls he busts? He busts my balls. And he's Fidel. I love him with all my heart, but he's the biggest cat I got. But his meow is very, wow, like a little fucking girl. And I gotta tell you something, it fucking goes right through me. So the other morning I woke up on Monday, early in the morning at 5, and he's the first cat I see. My wife's on the couch at 5 with coffee and a hot dog. She's pregnant. With a smile. Yeah, from a smile from ear to ear. And Fidel comes out, and I see the other cats eating. Fidel comes up, and he's like, wow. And I look at Terry, and I go, why is this cat meowing at me? She's like, well, I fed him. I go, no, you didn't feed him. The fucking thing's not in the corner. And she's like, well, I brought it to him. I go, for the last 8 fucking years, he doesn't like eating with people. Yeah. It's 8 fucking years we have him, okay? Okay, I put the thing in the dish. Last night. This is Monday. I just had this conversation. On Wednesday, this is last night. It's Halloween. I stay in. I come out at 9 o'clock. First fucking cat that runs up to me is Fidel. She looks at me, and I go, did you eat, Fidel? She goes, no, I just fed them. I go in the kitchen, and sure enough, the cats follow me in there, and Fidel's fucking meowing on the floor. I look in the corner, and where's his bowl? I said to her, I go, you don't seem to understand. I go, this kind of shit irritates the fuck out of me. This is like wiping your ass. Is there a day that goes by that you don't wipe your fucking ass? No. So from here on in, that dish has to be in the corner every day. She picked it up to give it to Finney. I don't give a fuck about picking up. That's the way it is. And people in this country do not understand that. They refuse to understand. When you go on a diet, you go on a diet. When you become a comedian, you become a comedian. Yeah. And you stick to what makes you a comedian. You don't deviate from that. And then because when you deviate from that, then people, I don't know what happened. Well, you stop doing what you were doing. When you do something every Monday, I do it every Monday. The reason why I don't like working Sundays is because Sunday nights from 6 to 7, where the Dexter's on, I'm answering these motherfuckers' emails. Nothing could stand in my way for that. Not a dinner party, not somebody's fucking birthday. That has nothing to do with me. This is what's important. You know, when people go on diets in this country, they fail because they don't stick to it. Or they don't stick to a form of eating, and they go, I don't know what happened. I can tell you what fucking happened. You didn't stick to your plan. You have a plan. And there's shit that you have to do every day, regardless. I don't give a fuck. It's like when Josh Wolf was on here. Josh Wolf called me the other day. We had this talk.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking to a friend of his, and he's like, I don't understand that concept that you guys are talking on the open mic. Well, that's why you're not a comedian.
Well, what is it that you do to keep so, like, focused? I'm always
There's no
amazed
focus. There's no focus.
People who can do that.
You have to do the same shit every week, regardless of what time, who's having a party, who doesn't feel good, who wants to do this. That doesn't matter to my world. That has never mattered to my world. And I see people that have the same work ethic. And I talked to Terry yesterday about it. I go, I just don't. She goes, I can't understand why you get so mad about it. I go, because I don't understand that lifestyle. You do the same shit every fucking day. I'm not saying, and by you listening to this, you're going, well, Joey, you're a pretty boring guy. No. I'm not saying that I eat sushi every day, and I'm not saying I eat tuna every day. I'm not even saying I eat lunch at the same time every day. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the things you have to do to keep the machine going.
Yeah.
You have to keep the machine going. It's like what we talked about here. He was going on vacation. That's why he brought it up. He goes, I'm going away with my wife this week for Friday and Saturday. And he goes, before you say anything. And we were talking about it. I go, no, it's like, you don't understand. That's your wife. You have to do that. You've been on the road, like he said, he goes, it's October and I've already been on the road 28 weeks this year.
Oh,
and I understand
yeah.
that.
That's
It's the guys that say to you, no, I'm going to Disneyland. Really? Okay, you got kids, Felicia. I'm going to have a daughter. I understand. But when an adult says to me they're going to Disneyland, don't you have a show? Isn't it Saturday night? You be on fucking stage.
Yeah.
But you're the first motherfucker that'll call me on a Tuesday with some sob story about, Joey, I don't know what to do. This is what you got to do. That's what needs to be done. It's the same shit every day. And nothing could affect your dream. Nothing could affect your goal. If something has to be done that day, it has to be done. I know that shit pops up. And that's what I don't understand about people. And they hit you back. I don't know. Nobody needs a life coach. Nobody needs nothing. If you do what you need to do, we all know what needs to be done.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel particularly lucky that because you're kind of my life coach, Joey. You're the one that called me up and said, "Let's write it first," and then and I was like, "Right, he's gonna call me, or he's gonna try to fuck me, right, whatever." And it was totally, you would call me 2 or 3 times a week, and we'd sit there and write, and then you know what I mean, but you're a rare exception to that,
because I'm sick and tired of getting kicked in the ass and saying, "Why isn't this working for me?" You have to do the same shit every fucking day, the same way. And if you have to do something every Tuesday, you have to do something. We had Chris McGuire on. I say like riding with a dead one. Mm-hmm. There's things you have to do. I'm trying to write a book now. I tell you what, it's the worst habits I've had working with Omar, and he's helped me a lot. But one thing Omar told me, he goes, Joey, this becomes a lot easier if you write a sentence a day. Let's go down to a sentence a day. Well, guess what? Since he told me that, I've been writing a page a day for the last 22 days. Because I understand now. Yeah. I understand the mind of a writer now. You can't, we write as comics. And I know there's people, we're talking about like Bill Burr, and there's great comics that write every fucking day, 40 jokes a day, and, Tony Hinchcliffe and all these people, they're writing.
I know, I get my rocks off. I make one little joke, and then I go on, and I see what Lori Kilmartin dumps on Facebook, just that they didn't pick at Conan. She's just dumping them, and I'm like, fuck, her dumps are way better than my one fucking joke I labored over all fucking day. Yeah.
They're just, but I remember one day I had a guest on my podcast, that's Pete, and he was talking about the day my mother came over to his pool with a stick in her hand, and she was going to beat me in front of my friends because I didn't make my fucking bed. And I made believe like I didn't know, I'm like, who's this fucking crazy Spanish lady? And even now, I remember my mom saying to me, I'm like, I don't like making my bed. And her going, when you wash your ass, when you shit, you gotta wipe your ass, don't you? And you do it every time. Why would you deviate from anything else? Yeah. It's the same thing. And she beat it into me. And I'm writing a chapter about my mother and how she had this fucking huge bar, Felicia. Huge. When you walk in, there was, 40 chairs this way, and then there was a wall, and then there was a back fucking wall, and there was 2 bathrooms, and there was nothing. Then behind that was a fucking kitchen, and then you had the bar underneath. She would clean that in 35 minutes. You know why? Because she did the same thing every fucking day. And I used to watch her. She'd come in with the quarters in her pocket. And she'd put the alarm, the whole fucking thing, and she'd go right to the jukebox, start putting her little red quarters in there, and then she'd take a bucket with water, with hot scorching water, and she'd put bleach in it, and she'd put fucking perfume in it, and she'd just dump it on the fucking floor, 3 of them. And then she'd start pushing it out the door. Have you seen somebody mop ever? They take a mop, and they dry it, and mop, and then it goes back, and they do a little section, and no, she got down. You get a fucking broom, you fucking push the fucking water, and then you get the fucking mop and you push it, and you kill 2 birds with 1 stone in 35 minutes. When she would hire people to do it, me and her would sit there. She'd go, watch this. 2 hours, 3 hours. She'd go, I do it in 35 fucking minutes because she had a system. And she never deviated from that system. While the floor was drying, she got the ice. While the ice was melting, she wiped down the mirrors. And it was just a system. And it's a system. So I learned that when you look at something, you look at it, you don't dive into it. You assess the situation and go, 1, 2, 3. That's my first 3 steps. And then everything else comes after that. But I'm going to do that the same way every fucking day. You know, every fucking day. I'm not going to deviate from that. When somebody comes in and goes, well, I'm a new cleaner and I'm doing it this way. Yeah, you just add an extra hour to the 2 that we could already add. The goal is to do it and get it over. You know?
No, I see that. You can definitely do that because even seeing how you're plotting the whole iTunes takeover with Joey Diaz Incorporated, you have looked at it. And I mean, in the beginning when we were doing the podcast, I was like, oh, Joey, you know, you got to look at this. You're like, not now, dog, not now. But once you sat and looked at it, you were like, this is what we need to do. We need to do that. And you have to do that in life.
We choose to
I'm
do.
shitty at it.
We
You're
choose.
really good at
We
it.
choose to dance around everything. We always dance around everything. And dog, I did it for years, and that's why I got the results I got.
Right.
I danced around everything. Can't dance around it. You got to dive in that motherfucker
Right.
and go, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm going to do it, and nothing could stop me from that. Nothing.
And by the way, if you have taken anything away from the podcast in the past 2 years, even if you are a listener who goes away, comes back, or the ones that doggedly hang on, we sure love you and appreciate you.
We do love you, man.
If you could do us a big favor, and if you could either go to joeycocodiaz.net, and I put a little link on there where you can vote for us on the podcast awards. You can go to beautyandthebeast.com. There's also a little link on there that says vote on the podcast poll, awards. There's also a button on there for taking a little survey if you want to just stop by and give some information, because we're just trying to do something a little bit shinier with all the things that we have going on. And we do want to say thank you so much for having shared our lives over the past 2 years, and for following us on Twitter and on Facebook, and for becoming part of our family, and most of all for nominating us in the first place.
That's right, bitches. You did a good job, guys.
Yeah, and you can go to thepodcastawards.com if you are in a hurry and don't want to go check out the links on the site. And you can find a lot of other things on the site, like we have an Amazon banner. If you would like to support the podcast, do us a big favor. If you're thinking about buying anything on Amazon, if you go to beautyandthebeast.com, there's an Amazon banner. Just click on that. It takes you right to Amazon. It's just an accounting for the accountant so that they know someone has listened about their product, which is Amazon, on our podcast. And also, don't forget, if you haven't ever left a nice little comment on the iTunes, we would certainly appreciate that, because it helps levitate and keep us up in the numbers if there's a lot of activities on our iTunes page.
And that's it. We're out of here.
All right.
Thank you very much for voting for us. Have a great week and stay black.
Mwah.
Go to Pro Flowers right now and order a nice bouquet for somebody. Make their day.